Hey guys, welcome to 𝑑𝑻𝑪�៌𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒂. Today we have got Primal and Grizzly featuring our Ursaluna V from Silver Tempest with a super cool hard code ability allowing to reduce 30 damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's active. And we also are playing our Rock Chestplate from Scarlet and Violet, the new tool card that allows you to reduce 30 more damage. If you attach this tool card onto your fighting Pokemon, you actually get to tank even more. We're reducing with the ability and also reducing 30 more with the tool card, and that means we are reducing a total of 80 damage with our Lake Acuity as well. On our high HP Ursaluna V, turn in 30, that means we get to tank up to 310 damage, 300 damage, my bad. If they do 300 damage with our tool card and Stadium in play, they are not actually able to knock out Ursaluna. We're still alive to to attack on the next turn after healing those damage. So Peach Shoulder is doing 220 damage, Ursaluna V is doing 220 for the attack that is using. For 3 fighting, it gets to do Peach Shoulder, hitting 10 less damage though for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So it's doing less damage the more this Pokemon gets damaged, and we have to be careful how to use this attack because we need to be recovering this Pokemon constantly, reducing the damage counter on this Pokemon so that we get to do as much damage with Peach Shoulder over and over again. So how do we heal damage from our Ursaluna? We have our Slowbro, obviously, to do strange behavior, move 1 damage counter from our Ursaluna onto our Slowbro as often as we like during our turn. And if we have 2 copies in play, we get to move up to 18 damage counter onto 2 different Slowbros on our bench, and then play our Emergency Jelly, which is the old combo that we use for our 𝑔ouldra V-Star. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. 𝑔ouldra V-Star with Slowbro, we played this before. Emergency Jelly, a really good combo. We also have our Picnic Basket, which is the new card from Scarlet and Violet, which I forgot to add for our 𝑔ouldra V-Star deck. So it's healing 30 damage, which is a little bit more than our Freshwater. 30 damage from each Pokemon in play, including your opponent's Pokemon. So we do have to be very careful when playing this card, but we are doing a lot of damage with our Ursaluna though, so we can actually hit for 2-hit knockouts even after healing that much damage from our opponent's Pokemon using 2 Picnic Basket in a row. We're not playing that many copies as well. We have our Lucky Ice Pop and 4 copies of Emergency Jelly as our main heal cards, only 2 copies of the basket, and we also have our Koraidon EX to help us do Dino Cry early game to quick start our energy. So we have this ability to help us search our discard pile for 2 fighting energy, attach it to any one of our bench fighting Pokemon in any way we like, and then ending your turn. So after using this ability, you do have to end your turn, but if you have enough energies in your hand to discard on your first turn, if you go first or if you go second, at least you get to attach energy before ending your turn with your Koraidon. And then on your second turn, you can already attack with Peach Shoulder by attaching 1 extra energy from your hand. So if you discard 1 and attach 1 from your hand on the first turn, you actually get a bonus energy with your Dino Cry, and then on the next turn you just need 1 more from your hand to attack with Peach Shoulder, doing 220 damage on your second turn, which is crazy. We also have our switch cards with Arven and Irida to get it out, 2 escape ropes to help us switch our Ursaluna V into the active spot as early as possible so that we get to attack as fast as we can, tanking damage and also transferring those damage counters onto our Slowbro on the second turn. Immediately after tanking those damage, we do have to transfer them to be able to do big damage all over again, because if we don't heal from our Ursaluna, we are not able to do big damage anymore. Having too many damage counters on this Pokemon means we are not doing as much damage with Peach Shoulder. So we do have to be careful. We do have to bench multiple Slowpoke in addition to getting enough energies on this Pokemon to attack. We have to think about doing both of those things at the same time, evolving your Slowbro, getting your heal cards attached, and also getting enough energies on your Ursaluna to attack. Next, for our supporter cards, we're playing 1 Boss, 1 Serena, 1 Irida to get our water Pokemon, either our Slowbro for the evolution or our Radiant Greninja for the draw support. We also get to search for an item card with our Irida, either our switches, balls, Lucky Ice Pop, or even our Battle VIP Pass for our first turn going second. We're also playing 1 Arven to get our tool cards and also an item. We get to search for Emergency Jelly or even Rock Chestplate to tank big damage with our Ursaluna in the active, using hard code and also our Lake Acuity. So we are also playing 1 Thorton as well to help us transform our Koraidon EX on the bench. After attaching 1 energy at a time from our hand to satisfy the attack cost, we actually do have enough turns to charge up the second Koraidon, our second attacker on the bench, with 1 fighting energy at a time from our hand, just because we are delaying the game. We are tanking damage over and over and healing those damage with our Slowbro. We are buying a lot of time with our first Ursaluna in the active, and that actually allows us enough time to charge up our second attacker on the bench so that we get to do a Thorton at the last minute to transform into another Ursaluna right after the first one gets knocked out. For our draw support, we're playing 2 Bibarel with 1 Radiant Greninja. For our basic summons, we're playing 4 VIP Pass, 4 Nest Ball, 1 Heavy Ball to get our basics from the prize, 1 Irida and 1 Arven as we said to search for our VIP. If we go second on our first turn, we get to search for our Nest Ball or VIP in addition to a Water Pokemon or our Tool card. We also get to get our evolutions with our Ultra Ball. We're playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball for Bibarel to draw cards as well, since we are not playing 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒍𝒂𝒓𝒄, since we need our bench spot for Slowbro to be able to use his ability. We need at least 2 Slowbro and 2 draw supports to help us draw out our evolutions and also our energy cards so that we get to, sustain our hand. We actually need 2 copies, either a Greninja and a Bibarel or 2 Bibarels on our bench in addition to 2 Slowbros, and that means we have no spots for Menifee or 𝑬𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒄, and that's the reason we're not playing those cards for this deck. Finally, we're also playing 1 Capturing Aroma to get either an evolution or a basic Pokemon depending on the coin flip with 11 basic fighting energy. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game versus Giratina V-Star. They got a Lost Box with Mirage Gate and Star Requiem. So they can do an instant knockout. All they need is 10 cards in the Lost Zone to basically finish off our first Ursaluna with the effect of an attack using the V-Star power. But the second one though, if we play the Thorton at the right time, if we can somehow charge up the second Ursaluna, I'm pretty sure we actually discarded Thorton from our hand with an Ultra Ball though for this game. But if we are able to somehow charge up the second Ursaluna, then they would need more than 280 damage to knock us out. And that means we get the tank with our Rock Chestplate against Lost Impact, since they are only doing 280 damage, but they could have a Choice Belt though. If they play a Choice Belt, they may be able to knock us out with 1 hit, even with Lake Acuity in play. So let's hope they don't play a Choice Belt. Now that EX is in play, they may not have any Choice Belts. Anyways, they need the Comfies. Let's hope they don't get they don't lose enough cards to play Star Requiem that early. So if they bench the Giratina, if they bench it without evolving, we actually get to play a boss or Serena before they get to use the V-Star power. So that's the advantage of this deck. We have the space to fit in Boss's Order, Serena in this deck, and that's going to help us against Giratina, since we get to pull it out just before it plays the V-Star power for the straight knockout. Eventually though, if they bench 2 at a time, eventually they would be able to Star Requiem. So we do have to think about playing our Thorton or, benching a second Ursaluna, which would be quite difficult because we need like a Bibarel Greninja in play, which we already have on our bench. And since we're not playing Penny, we can't really remove the Koraidon from play. We can't remove it from our bench. If we have 2 Slowbros, we're going to have to either wait for them to play an Avery to free up a bench spot so that we get to bench another Ursaluna, or we're forced to play the Thorton. And if you discard Thorton at the wrong time, if you don't get it at the right time as well, if you discard it with your Ultra Ball, Research, whatever, you may not be able to, summon a second copy. You may not be able to attack with a second Ursaluna V, which would be quite terrible. You may have to play Dino Cry a second time, which is not ideal, because you are ending a turn after using that ability. And ending the turn means they can quite easily do a boss and, basically waste even more of your heal cards. They can even do a boss on your Koraidon to knock it out before dealing with your Ursaluna. They would probably deal with the Ursaluna first though, because you are doing less damage for each damage counter on your V card. So the more you get damaged, the less damage you're doing with Ursaluna's Peach Shoulder. And they are basically going to force you to lose your emergency jelly to basically, lose up all of your resources until you have no more heal cards left. And then you're left with nothing but, Peach Shoulder for 10 damage or something like that. So they are basically, they are trying to reduce your damage. They could actually pull up a strategy of continuously striking your Ursaluna to basically force you to do less and less damage, by exhausting your heal cards. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, here comes the Comfy. Flower select like crazy. There's going to be a Jet Energy, which is going to work so well for Comfy decks. They are currently playing nothing but Beach Court for the retreat, which is actually not too bad. But if they play Jet Energy though, since Cramorant doesn't need any energies on the first turn to set up, it's quite easy to play, you know, it's actually very efficient to play Jet Energy in a Lost Box. Because all you need to do for Greninja or any other V-Star Pokemon that you're playing in a Lost Box, all you need to do is attach one energy from your hand on the same turn as playing your Mirage Gate. You may not even need to attach from your hand if you have 2 copies to play on the same turn. So double Mirage Gate means you got 4 energies on maybe a Great Tusk, something like that. Anything that needs more than 3 energies, you just need to play 2 Mirage Gate, and that's enough. You don't even need an energy from your hand, you don't even need Energy Search, you don't even need Arven, Irida to get the Energy Search. It's quite easy to charge up your Pokemons. You only have 4 copies to spare though, obviously. Once they run out of the Mirage Gate, it's over. They may even lose like 1 or 2 copies as well with Flower Select, you never know. So it's not always perfect. You need to recycle your energy as well at some point. If you don't recycle it, if you don't have enough energies in your deck, you can't actually attach them from, you know, you can't search your deck and attach them to your Pokemon. Because it has to be inside your deck. If you have no more energies, no more basic energy in your deck to search from, they have to be different types as well. Then you can't actually play Mirage Gate. You're not attaching any energies. You can still play it, obviously. So here comes Colress. They're losting a lot of cards now, preparing for Mirage Gate on the Greninja. So we have no Menifee for this deck, and we gotta be extra careful when we're benching the Slowpoke. For this game, apparently we made a huge mistake of benching the second Slowpoke, not aware that they have Greninja in play. They have it as their first active though, so we should have been a bit more alert. Definitely should not be benching the second Slowpoke there. If we did it on our first turn, it would actually be smart, because then all we need to do is evolve both the Slowbro on the next turn, which is quite difficult still, because we need to not just evolve both the Slowbro by doing maybe Irida for an Ultra Ball, but we also need to get the Bibarel. So it's quite difficult to evolve 3 Pokemons in a single turn, because if you don't evolve fast enough, Greninja is going to come in and knock out your Slowpoke on the bench. You got no Menifee, you're done. So against a Lost Box, golden rule is don't bench your Slowpoke at the wrong time. And once you have one Slowbro in play, keep it that way, right? You don't need a second Slowbro. Don't be benching any more Slowpokes. Just keep your bench still. Because if you bench any more 1-price basics, they're just going to get extra prizes with a Sableye. Going to get extra prizes with Moonlight Shuriken because we have no Menifee. I keep saying that, but it's really important. If you're not playing Menifee, you got to be extra alert. You got to be extra, like, on point, you know? So here comes the Mirage Gate. They got already 2 energy attached though. So they could actually be attaching the other one on the Giratina, probably because they actually have it in play already. There we go. So here comes the Bench Snipe. 90 damage on 2 Pokemons. They could actually target our Ursaluna as well, but it appears that they're just gonna strike both the Slowbros. They got 1 knockout this turn, unfortunately. Oh shit, we actually did strange behavior on the last turn. So all they need is 1 damage counter on the Slowbro, and they got double knockout. We were dumb enough to actually keep the damage counter on the Slowbro. Sorry about that. Big mistake on my part, but at least I'm learning, I guess. So don't bench the next Slowbro. We're not gonna bench any more Slowpokes, because they can quite easily just play a Miriam, Clara, and then another Mirage Gate to do a second Shuriken, and then we would be down by another 2 prize. So that's actually not good. Here comes the Giratina though. So we better be getting... Oh, we got the boss. We're definitely going to do a V knockout here. So we're basically we're trying to even things out by drawing 2 prize this turn. And we didn't get our Rock Chestplate yet, but we got Lake Acuity at least. No Arven. Oh, we finally just got the Arven. We can't play it though. We gotta play it on the next turn. So no Rock Chestplate on this turn, but we got the Arven for the next. Are we actually gonna attach the emergent? I don't think that's a good move though, because we need the Rock Chestplate. Bad thing about Jelly is that you only get to heal if you have 30 HP remaining, and that means if Ursaluna has 19 damage counters on it, you don't get to heal any damage with that Jelly. Jelly is not going to do anything, it's not going to heal, it's not going to get discarded passing the turn, it's just going to stay there without doing any recovery until it has 30 HP or less remaining. And your opponent could just do like, you know, they could just do enough damage to barely reach, you know, to reduce your HP down to 40 or even 50, and that means Emergency Jelly is not going to work anymore. So that's the reason we have to attach it onto Slowbro and no other Pokemon. For your fighting Pokemon, make sure you reserve the tool spot for Rock Chestplate, because that's the ideal one, especially for a fighting deck. Here comes another Mirage Gate. So I think they played 2 copies already. They're down to 2 left. Sableye is going to be really disruptive though. Let's hope they don't play a Stadium, because if they hit the Ursaluna, they're hitting 50 less damage. So only 40 damage on the V card in the active, but we are still doing less damage though, and eventually that's going to cost us. And I'm not actually too sure if we should be benching the Slowpoke now, because eventually our Ursaluna would not be doing any damage. But I don't think we need that much damage though. I don't think we need that much damage against the 1 price. So they're doing 90 damage to the active apparently. I'm not sure why. Oh, it gets reduced later though. So it's showing 90 now, but it's actually 40. There we go. It's actually only 40 because, you know, they calculate it after, which is quite weird for life. We're just gonna attach the tool card onto Bibarel, because 90 is exactly enough. Bibarel has exactly 30 HP remaining, so that's perfect. And we're gonna dig for possibly a Slowpoke. I'm not actually too sure if we should be benching though, because they got more Mirage Gates. It's actually pretty risky, honestly, but we may have no choice since they are playing a Giratina. We got 3 prize remaining. They got 4, so I feel like we should still bench the Slowpoke because we just healed so much damage. I don't think we need to worry too much about them getting extra prizes, because even if they do Moonlight Shuriken again on the next turn, they're only drawing 1 prize because Bibarel gets recovered. Okay, we just digged for a Ice Pop and Rock Chestplate. You could either do Ice Pop or Picnic Basket with your Arven, and obviously a Jelly or Rock Chestplate, because that's, you know, you get to search for item and a tool card, which is super great. Works really well for a heal deck. It's actually perfect for Slowbro, honestly. So we got 1 Irida to get the evolution, or even to bench basics, you know, another Slowpoke preparing for the next copy. We could also search for an item. If we go second on our first turn, we could dig for a VIP pass. We could search for a VIP, bench extra 2 basics, because we actually need a bigger bench than usual for this deck. We need our Koraidon EX, we need obviously Ursaluna in play early game, and we also need Greninja to discard our energy so we get to play Dino Cry. Not to mention we need 1 Bidoof for the draw support, and also at least one Slowpoke on the bench, just so that we get to evolve it early to transfer the damage counter from the get-go. If we don't bench the Slowpoke on the first turn, it would be quite slow, and if they do a boss and, you know, damage our Ursaluna early game, we may not be able to transfer and heal fast enough to do enough damage for early knockouts. So we want to be benching Slowpoke as fast as possible, but if you don't get it on your first turn though, you can still do it on your second turn. It's still okay, I feel, because it is tanking a lot of damage. It's reducing by 60 if you have the Rock Chestplate. It's reducing by 80 if you play the Stadium and the Tool card on your Ursaluna. And 80 reduction is actually quite a lot, especially on the first turn. If your opponent plays Miraidon EX though, they can quite easily hit 220 damage on the first turn, or even more if they play Choice Belt. So we gotta be careful for those decks. If they play those decks, obviously don't put Ursaluna as your active. Switch it out from the active and, give off a sacrificial lamb like a Bidoof or, one of the Slowpokes, because we actually are playing an additional copy of our Slowpoke. We just need 2 on our bench, but the extra copy is basically for safety and also just in case they play Avery. We have no Miriam though. I wanted to add Miriam for this deck just in case they do Avery to discard our bench. Then we would need to shuffle back, 1 or 2 Slowbro with the Greninja or even the Koraidon, something like that, just to, recycle those abilities and, help us draw cards again with Greninja, stuff like that. But now we have no counter against Avery. It's pretty risky, but I feel like it's okay still if you are smart enough to make the combo work. It's a little bit tight, but it's actually still manageable because we have an extra copy of Slowbro, and that should be enough. It should be enough if you're smart enough. Okay, we got our third energy on Koraidon. Now we just need to be smart with the Escape Rope Serena. I don't think we should be playing the Serena. If we do it on the Giratina, they could just bench a second copy on the next turn and then play Sableye in the active, and then we got no more Serena boss in our deck. That means we can't target the same Giratina on the bench, and then we're going to be wasting that turn doing damage onto the V-Star for nothing, right? So we should definitely not be playing Serena right now. Might as well just do Escape Rope for the win. So even if they knock out Ursaluna on the next turn, on this turn, we just need to put something else as the active, something other than the Koraidon, and then do an Escape Rope for the win. Because Escape Rope is going to give us either a basic Giratina, any basic Vs on the bench, or a Comfy, Sableye, Cramran, what have you, anything that allows us to draw the final prize with 220 damage doing Wild Impact with Koraidon EX for the win, for the knockout. 220 damage may not be enough to kill a Crabominable V though, or any other cards with more than 220 HP. But I feel like for this game, we got the knockout. I don't think they're playing any V cards other than Giratina. That's probably the main combo. Giratina Lost Box. Alrighty, we just need to hope they don't play a Roxanne or a Judge. If they do that, we got a second copy of Escape Rope inside the deck. We even have Arven. I think we played Arven already, my bad. We even have Irida still in the deck for us to dig out our Escape Rope. So I don't think we should be too worried. If they shuffle back our hand and, if we draw back the Serena as well, we could dig for the Escape Rope with Bibarel and Greninja. So Escape Rope is all we need, really. That's the finishing touch for this delicious win against a Lost Box V-Star deck. Wild Impact for the final prize, knocking out a Comfy with 220 damage, minus 30 for the resistance though, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Fairy has any resistance. I think Psychic type has, but Comfy is considered a Fairy type. So no resistance. So first win against Giratina. Now let's go on to the next one. We have Gardevoir EX for our next game. So this is going to be a tough one because Gardevoir's got Zacian for a OHKO. I don't think they even need Zacian because they got Brainwave with the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. So if it's actually doing the same amount of damage for each energy attached to each energy attached to the Gardevoir, they're doing 30 more, and it's the same as Zacian's attack, Storm Slash. Only difference is they get to attach way more energies onto the Zacian just because it has way more HP than Gardevoir, since it is a V card. So Zacian could probably do way more damage just because it could tank a lot more with its high HP. And they could just play Emergency Jelly at the last second, to recover right after attaching like about 10 energies onto the Zacian. If they attach 10, they got 20 damage counters on the Zacian, and they got 360 damage with Storm Slash. But they need 10 discarded energies though. So it's all about speed, right? Gardevoir is all about speed. Are they able to discard the energies fast enough? Are they able to do Psychic Embrace at the right time? And they even have Mewtwo V Union to make it even worse. They have Mewtwo V Union to do Psysplosion against one price decks. Like, I feel like that's a little bit too broken. The only plus side is that they are playing full-on Psychic, except for Zacian. Zacian is a Fairy type. But Gardevoir EX is a Psychic, Mewtwo V Union is a Psychic, so if you play like a Darkness box, or any decks that play Galarian Moltres V, you could even do the one price Moltres for Fiery Wrath for a last minute knockout as well. So if you play Clara with your Moltreses, you could quite easily do instant knockouts against Gardevoir, instant knockout against Mewtwo V Union. So it's not invincible, you just need to find the right counters, right? If you're playing a fighting deck like we are though, it would be quite scary because we are doing less damage for the resistance. We're also not allowed to hit for the weakness because we can't play Moltres since we need full fighting energy for Ursaluna and also Koraidon EX to attack. We need all 3 fighting energies. So that means we have no room for Darkness. We can't actually fit in like even just 3 copies of Darkness energy. We're not allowed to do that. So it makes no sense to play Ursaluna with Moltres, and that's the reason we're focusing full on our strategy, not adding tech cards. We're putting in as many heal cards for Slowbro to help us with the heal effect. We're putting in our Lake Acuity Rock Chestplate for tank, and we have Bibarel Greninja for the draw support. Okay, so now they have 1 route in play, only 1 copy, which is good news. But they're probably going to bench more right now, instantly. There we go. Quite surprising that on the first turn though, they got only 1 in play. And now they're going to evolve the Kirlia. And there we go. Start drawing cards. But they're only drawing 4 cards though with the ability, which you may think is not that much. But they got Research, they got Tracking Shoes. So I'm thinking it should be quite easy for them to draw out more routes to multiply and evolve the Gardevoir on the next turn. If they got Shining Arcana as well, it would be quite terrible, because then they could not just get more, not just draw more cards into their hand, but also get more energies into play, or even discard it for them to play Psychic Embrace. So they got the Mewtwo V Union discarded as well. They got, I think, 2 pieces now. They need 2 more pieces. If they got any 1 piece stuck in the prize, they need to dig for the Peonia. So I think our we have the option of decking them out as well. That's not our only option to win this game, obviously, but we do have that option, and we need to keep that in mind. We could actually think about stalling until they deck out, but they probably have Miriam or Palpat or some way to shuffle back cards into the deck. Miriam is actually drawing 3 cards though. Important to know that even if they are shuffling a maximum of 5 Pokemons back into the deck, they are actually forced to draw back 3 cards into their hand, and that means they are basically only shuffling back 2 Pokemons. So they have essentially 2 extra cards in the deck with Miriam, and that's not going to be enough. They need a lot more shuffles. They need a lot more turns. But if they get the Psysplosion though, I think our main concern is probably the Mewtwo V-Star. If they play Psysplosion though, we can actually recover with Slowbro, so I don't think we should really be too worried. If they play Zacian, they could one-hit KO. They could do a straight knockout on our Ursaluna, because they got 360 damage at some point in the game. 360 is more than enough to one-hit KO our massive tanker. So I feel like they still have the advantage just because of Storm Slash. Because we can't actually... Slowbro is not doing anything anymore, as long as they do a straight knockout. Okay, we got Bibarel for the draw support. That's how important ability is, right? If you get stuck with a dead hand, We got Pokemon on the bench to draw cards with. If they play Avery, we're probably just gonna discard the Slowpoke and the Koraidon. So we can bench another Slowpoke quite easily, and we can just bench Ursaluna on a, we can put a second Ursaluna so that we can start attaching those energies on the bench. If they do a Avery, we could even play another Koraidon to do Wild Impact and, attach another Rock Chestplate to the second one. Okay, we got our first knockout against Ralts. Against Kirlia, my bad. Oh, I think it's a Ralts though. We did Escape Rope. Okay, here comes God of War. So we are hitting the resistance here. We're only hitting 190 damage against the EX. We are doing a straight knockout on the one prize though. That's for sure. No Avery. That's good. Really, really good news. But research means they could dig for a lot more cards earlier. They could play the V-Union. They could do Storm Slash for, an instant knockout a lot faster. Let's hope they don't play a Zacian. If they do Storm Slash though, it would be so bad. I don't think they have any ways to shuffle back Pokemons. They are playing only one copy of Zacian, so if we deal with the Zacian, I don't think they have any way to play Storm Slash a second time. So all we need to do is knock out the Zacian with the second Ursaluna and hope to stay alive as long as possible with the second V attacker, with our second tanker, eventually doing enough knockouts for the win. And here comes Psychic Embrace. They're actually scrambling though. They're getting enough energies attached, preparing for the knockout on the active already. I don't know why they're attaching energies and saving the EX. Sorry, using the ability as much as they can, expecting a knockout. But we are not actually doing a knockout though. We're not actually allowed to do enough damage since they have the resistance and, we're only doing 220 max. I don't think we can heal all damage either. We got the Picnic Basket, but we need the Emergency Jelly. We need a second Slowbro for sure. But if we get the Jelly, we can transfer even more damage counters on the next turn. If we don't, we're pretty much screwed. We got 4 copies though. So I'm actually thinking whether or not to play the Picnic Basket, because you're actually healing all damage from your opponent's Pokemon as well, from each Pokemon, and that includes all of our opponent's Pokemon. But we're not actually doing a knockout against the EX. If they choose to evolve a second EX on the bench, we're not able to knock it out with one hit anyways, even with 6 damage counters on it, just because of the resistance. And since we're not playing Defiance Band or Choice Belt doesn't work against EX, by the way. So there's really no way to kill off the God of War with one hit. Might as well just play the Picnic Basket. So we did double basket, and now we're gonna attach the jelly. I think we played only one basket, my bad. We're gonna do the jelly on the Slowbro now. We got 2 damage counters from Koraidon, because I forgot about Old Cemetery. We could have just attached the energy and then played a Picnic Basket. But no harm, because no harm, no foul. Just because we got just enough damage counters on Slowbro to play the jelly for full recovery now. Okay, now we just need one more hit to finish off the God of War. We got 5 prize remaining. They got 6, and they're not doing any damage because we just healed everything on the last turn. We healed everything. We had a Rock Chestplate on the last turn, so they're only doing 140 damage. And I think 130, if I'm not mistaken. Right? 190 minus 60. So with 13 damage counters on Ursaluna, it's quite easy to recover all, since we have our Picnic Basket to recover 60 by transferring to the Slowbro. And then we got Jelly to recover another 90. That's a total of 150 damage. We can heal 150 damage with those 2 item and tool cards. So if you get like Arven, you can search for a Picnic Basket and the Jelly to recover 150 in a single turn. If you have a second Slowbro, you can even transfer to the second one and wait for the Jelly on the second copy by basically moving 9 damage counters from your Ursaluna and extra 9 damage counters onto the second Slowbro. Here comes Brainwave. Do they have enough though? Can they manage to get enough energies on the God of War to do a instant knockout on the Ursaluna? Let's hope not. Because we got the Rock Chestplate, they only need 290 damage though. So how much energy is how many energy is that? I think it's 8 energies that they need. 240 plus 60 base. So they got 7 energies attached to the God of War. So apparently it was a huge mistake attaching way too early with Psychic Embrace because they need 1 more energy now. I think we played the Picnic Basket wrong as well. If we didn't heal our opponent with the Picnic Basket, then they couldn't actually attach another one from the discard pile. Because that would actually knock out the God of War. They would actually knock out their own Pokemon. And they can't actually play Brainwave anymore. So, really, really close. 20 more damage, 1 last energy. And they actually couldn't finish off our Ursaluna, being kind of a sore loser there. But we got our straight transfer. 9 damage counters on the bench Slowbro. And they didn't even get the Jelly though. I don't think they're playing Jelly in their deck. So no Jelly on the God of War means that we just need 30 damage to knock it out. We don't really need to transfer that much damage counters. So we got punished by Old Cemetery, which is fine. Oh well. We're just gonna dig for the last Slowbro. Okay, we got Lucky Ice Pop, which isn't too bad. And we're just gonna play our Lake Acuity for extra damage reduction. Let's hope they don't play that many stadiums. God of War EX needs stadium cards though. They need Pumpkaboo Stadium Worker just to remove Path to the Peak. Because that stadium actually locks their ability. So they kind of have no choice but to play a lot of stadium cards. We got 3 Nest Ball. Nest Ball is not the same as Quick Ball, yo. If you have Quick Ball in your hand and a full bench, you can still play the item. If you have a full bench with Nest Balls, multiple Nest Balls, you get stuck. You can't draw cards with Bibarel anymore. You need 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒄. And the reason we're not playing 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒄, as we said earlier in the deck review, is because we need a full bench. We got Koraidon, stuck on a bench. We also have 2 Slowbro that we need, in addition to a draw support, possibly an extra Greninja. So that's the reason we can't afford to play cards like Menifee or 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒄. Because they would actually eat up the bench spot, and we can't play that many Slowbros anymore. If we don't have at least 2 Slowbros in play, we can't actually heal enough damage for us to do consistent damage with Peach Shoulder, for us to tank over and over and recover, for us to survive multiple turns with a single Ursaluna in the active. It's a bit sad though, because now they're down to 2 or 3 cards left in the deck. And they played a boss, but I'm pretty sure we have the Escape Rope still inside the deck. We have 1 last Escape Rope. Or we could just attach the energy for the retreat. We need 3 energies though, because Slowbro is extra heavy. Alrighty, let's hope they just knock out the Slowbro. We could actually choose to play Strange Behavior to transfer so much damage counters until we actually knock out the Slowbro in the active for us to switch out so that we get to attack with the Ursaluna. If we do that though, we may actually lose the game by losing that 1 prize. I don't think losing 1 prize is a big deal though at this point in the game, because they got no damage counters on any of our other Pokemons. I feel like we are safe to kind of just finish off the Slowbro so that we get to draw our prize cards a lot faster. So we got the last Escape Rope in the prize. There's no debate now. We have to play Strange Behavior. We have to knock out the Slowbro. Because we got no other switch cards in the deck. We just played one of our Escape Rope early game. So no more switches. let's just finish off the Slowbro. They got 6 prize remaining, so I feel pretty confident. We got our second Slowpoke and a third one in our hand, so we just need to evolve the second copy at some point and play the third one. I'm pretty sure we have a couple more Slowbros in a deck. Okay, we're gonna play the Nest Ball now. We're just gonna finish off the Nest Ball from our hand, so make sure you don't bench anything if you want to play the second copy or the third. Obviously, we want to be benching with the third one, because that actually helps us compress the deck. Oh, no, oh, because we have basics in our hand, though. We want to be benching another Slowpoke, right? Duh. Should we bench it right now, though? I feel like it's a bit too risky. Because if they play an Avery, we would be totally screwed. But apparently, we're just gonna dig for more. Okay, we got the Thorton. That's perfect. We just need 1 energy now. If they somehow finish off the Ursaluna on the next turn, we got our second Slowbro. That's great. It's our only Slowbro in play right now, but it's actually our second copy. So we're drawing 2 prizes. We just need 2 more. And they conceded. No Mewtwo V Union and no Zacian. Surprise, surprise. I don't think they have the Peonia in the deck. They got the wrong card's prize, I suppose, but we still won against a God of War. I'm happy with that. And now we're off to our next battle against Mewtwo V-Star with Lunatone Solrock. They're doing only 270 max damage though. If they play a Choice Belt, they can knock us out without the Lake Acuity in play, and they got Pokestop. They are actually playing Pokestop for the discard, helping them collect enough energies in the discard pile to play a Sun Energy for Moon Kinesis or even Psy Purge. So Lake Acuity is not perfect. If they play Path to the Peak as well, they are locking our ability. So that means we're actually denied not just the 20 damage reduction from the stadium, but also extra 30 from our ability. Now we got only Rock Chestplate to fall back on. If they play Path to the Peak and Lost Vacuum, it would actually destroy Ursaluna. Then they just need 230 damage. I don't think many decks play multiple Lost Vacuums though. If they play a Lost Box, chances are they would have more than 1 copy, but if they get it early, they would probably need to use that to lose their own cards to get enough to play Mirage Gate as soon as possible. If they play the Lost Vacuum to remove your tool card or to remove your stadium, then they may not have enough cards in the Lost Zone to play their Mirage Gate. So I feel like Lost Box is actually pretty tricky to play. It's not really that easy at the moment. They have quite a lot of restrictions. They got no more scoop up nets. They got Klefki as well, destroying their game. But I feel like they still have a huge advantage though against normal decks, because they have early start with Cramorant. They can do Radiant Charizard for big damage, Sableye for free damage counters, collecting 2 knockouts at a time against like bench Bidoof with Echoing Horn. It's just insane. Sableye is just undefeatable. There needs to be a nerf for Sableye. Like, why isn't there a tool card like Big Parasol back in the game? I don't know why they're cutting out Big Parasol. They should definitely revive that effect guard in a different format. Maybe a stadium, maybe an ability. We have Espeon VMAX for now, but I don't like that just because it's a VMAX and you have to evolve it as well. You also have to attach energy to your Pokemon to be able to activate its ability, which is not ideal because they are kind of forcing you to play Shadow Rider. They're forcing you to play God of War EX or Arceus V-Star with Espeon VMAX, because if you don't have energies attached to all of your Pokemon, they can still play those damage counters onto your bench. So Sableye to knock out like Dunsparce, anything Squavette on the bench, they can just play the Horn to keep on pulling it back out onto your bench from the discard pile. Which is very, very annoying, kind of forcing you to bench extra V cards just to counter the Sableye. If you bench too many Vs though, or EXs, they could quite easily do a boss and knock it out with their Raikou, or Suicune, whatever V cards that they're playing, or even Radiant Charizard. They can quite easily play Miriam to shuffle back, Clara to shuffle back to retrieve the Charizard and play it again on the next turn with Mirage Gate. So Lost Box is just crazy right now, and they even got Giratina for free knockout using Star Requiem, but they only got one free knockout though. Once they used up the V-Star power, the max damage that they're doing is only 280. If they play Radiant Charizard, they can hit for 280 with Choice Belt. If they play Lost Impact with Choice Belt though, they can actually knock out. They can do a instant kill on our Ursaluna with one hit. So we gotta watch out for that. I feel like that's the only thing we have to be careful about. But against any other Lost Box deck, if they don't play Giratina as well, I think we're pretty solid because we got 290 tank with our Rock Chestplate. And if we play our Lake Acuity, if they don't have Stadium in their hand, we got 310 damage tank, which is a lot. 310 damage. They need to hit that much to do a one-hit knockout on our Ursaluna. If they are not able to do so, we're going to recover all of those damage on the next turn, and we would be erasing all of those damage that they did on their previous turn, essentially deleting their last turn by doing a full recovery. So that's the power of Slowbro. Strange behavior, haha. We played this with Gudra V-Star, and now it's actually working really well with our Ursaluna using its ability and also the tool card for extra damage reduction. We don't need to play Rolling Iron, which is actually a V-Star attack. So we need to evolve it. We need to get two different type of energy on the Gudra to attack. For Ursaluna, if we get Koraidon early, we just need to discard one energy from our hand, attach an extra one from our hand, play Dino Cry on the first turn, and then on our second, attach one from our hand. We got enough energy to attack. We don't even need to evolve. We don't need the V-Star. Because we are tanking, we're reducing 80 less damage as well. Obviously, Gudra has a lot more HP than Ursaluna, but they are both basically taking the same amount of less damage with our Rock Chestplate. We're actually reducing 80 less. If we have the Stadium in play, if they don't play any other Stadium of their own to discard our Lake Acuity, we actually get to reduce 80 as well. And we even have the advantage of it being a tool card, and that means if they do an Escape Rope boss, they can't actually get past the damage reduction. Against Gudra V-Star, we all know that it's quite easy to do Escape Rope and boss back the Gudra to basically finish it off with 270 damage. If they play that Lost Vacuum with Path to the Peak though, as we said, they just need 230 damage to finish off our Ursaluna. So everything has their own counter. It's just that we are using a basic attacker for this deck, and I feel like it's a lot better than the V-Star. Anyways, back to the game. Here comes the Mewtwo V-Star doing Side Purge on the next turn. Fortunately, we get to attack first. So we're doing 30 less damage thanks to the resistance. But we got Picnic Basket ready to recover the damage. So if we are recovering from our opponent's Pokemon, at least we get to recover more than our opponent, right? Because transferring to the Slowbro means we got 60 damage recovery from the Ursaluna, whereas they only got 30 damage recovery from the Mewtwo. So we are essentially doing 60 more damage on the next turn by recovering only 30 damage from the Mewtwo. But since we are doing the resistance though, we have to take the resistance into account and make sure to calculate things right so that we got the knockout for our second strike. If we can't kill the Mewtwo for our second hit, it would be quite sad because we got Slowbro already on the bench. We just need to play our cards right and, do the math right. So we're just going to discard the second Slowbro and bench another Slowpoke. I feel like we need the Serena in our hand, so we're just going to empty and play the Bibarel on the next turn. We should definitely have played the Stadium later though, because they're going to do Pokestop. I got a bit too excited with the Stadium. Always play the Stadium at the last minute because after your opponent has a Stadium in play, only then should you be using your Lake Acuity because you are basically passing the ball to your opponent to use their Stadium card. If they have a Stadium in play already, you are at least discarding it, forcing them to get a second copy, which is a lot more difficult than you think. If you play your first Stadium, if you do the Stadium first, then your opponent just need to get their first Stadium to remove Lake Acuity from play, and that means they got 20 more damage on your Ursaluna. So we got to be extra careful if you're playing, you know, only 2 copies of the stadium. And now they did an Avery, forcing us to discard the Slowpoke. We can't really discard the Koraidon, but I feel like we should have done that. We actually chose to discard the Greninja. If we discard the Koraidon, I'm pretty sure we got enough turns to charge up the second copy. We should be charging up the second Ursaluna though, because we only have 1 energy on the Koraidon. If we keep the Slowpoke, I don't think we should be keeping the Greninja. We should be keeping the second Slowpoke for sure, because then we can actually recover way more damage from the Ursaluna, helping us tank, helping us last a lot longer with the first copy, so that we get to buy enough turns for us to attach more energies on our second Ursaluna by benching it on the next turn. So don't panic when they play an Avery. Just keep 1 Bibarel and 2 Slowbros. We got 1 Slowpoke and a Slowbro on the last turn. We could have evolved the second Slowbro and did strange behavior twice, but unfortunately we weren't smart enough to do that. So this is the point where we did Picnic Basket, because we were certain that we got the knockout with Peach Shoulder. Is doing enough damage. We just need to play the strange behavior to transfer a second time. Okay, we got 9 damage counters to tank with Slowbro. We even got the Jelly. I think we got full on 190 damage a second time, which is quite crazy, because we got only 1 Slowbro though. So we recovered 120 damage with the Picnic Basket by playing 2 copies in a single turn. Thanks to strange behavior, we get to recover 120 extra damage while using the ability a third time to tank 9 more damage counters. So that's a total of 21 damage counters, which is crazy. Okay, now we're gonna play Serena for the draw support. I feel like we should save Serena though, just in case they play a second Mewtwo. If they bench another Mewtwo, can quite easily do a Serena to finish it off before it evolves. But we still got the resistance though, so I don't think we can actually knock it out. But we can still get a head start by damaging it before they use their Psy Purge, and that means we just need 1 more strike on the Mewtwo to finish it off. Because if we don't deal with the Mewtwo, they got big damage later on in the game against the Koraidon. We gotta watch out for the psychic weakness as well, because Koraidon is actually a fighting type. I thought Koraidon is a ground rock type because it's primal. It's like a fossil, almost like a fossil Pokemon, because it's like ancient and, you know, from the past. But it's actually a fighting type. I wasn't aware of that. Sorry guys. Didn't actually play the VG. Not really too familiar with Scarlet and Violet, which is actually showing. Here comes the Raihan. Will they get enough energies on the Lunatone to do an instant knockout? No boss on the Koraidon. Thank God for that. So if they knock out the Koraidon, we just need to bench a second Ursaluna, get enough energies on it. If they don't, we gotta think about discarding our second copy, so that we get to play Thorton as early as we can, as early as possible, so that we get to avoid the weakness knockout. And here comes the punishment. We're getting punished for choosing to keep our Koraidon instead of the Slowpoke. Because if we have our second Slowbro right now, that would be so helpful. We could actually recover 180 damage with strange behavior twice in a row. But, oh well, we're learning from our mistakes, I guess. Okay, 9 damage counters on the Slowbro. And now we got 90 less damage with Peach Shoulder, 100 less damage from the resistance actually. So we're doing 120 on the Lunatone. Ursalunatone. Okay. We got the last jelly in the prize. I think we have 1 last copy in the deck though. Okay, since we don't see any Mewtwo in sight, we're just gonna play the Serena right now to help us discard the Ursaluna, so we get to play the Thorton at some point. We got a second Bibarel, which is quite crazy, honestly. Are we gonna play the Capture Aroma to bench another Pokemon? Normally we get a basic though. It's quite rare for me to get an evolution with the Aroma, but it's basically there just for the numbers. It fits in for the numbers, for you to get the Ultra Ball at the right time, for you to get your Arven Irida to evolve your Pokemons. Even though it doesn't really work in terms of getting your evolution, it is still a card that fits into the ratio, right? It makes it easier. It gives you a higher chance of getting your Ultra Ball or any other card to evolve faster. Trust me, it just kind of works. The number just works. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, it just works. I prefer Great Ball to the Aroma though, but if you don't play enough Pokemons in your deck, you're not allowed to play Great Ball. You need at least 17. 19 is the ideal number for you to play Great Ball successfully, to get just the right Pokemon that you want at the top 7 cards of your deck. 19 is ideal. But if you have 17 cards, 17 Pokemon in your deck, I think Great Ball is still, it's still worth considering to play Great Ball in the deck. Any card, any number less than 17 is a no-go. No bueno for Great Ball if you have less than 17 Pokemons in a deck. Sun Energy 4 times. No more Scoop of Net in Standard. They got nothing but Penny now. Penny and Raihan to get the extra energy. If they hit 210 right now, they actually got a knockout. So they just need 1 Raihan and 1 energy from the hand. 210 damage needs, that means they need 6 energies. Or if they can somehow discard our tool card, lost our tool card. There we go. We survived another turn with Ursaluna. And now we're going to transfer again with Slowbro. I'm pretty sure we have exhausted all of our heal cards though. We have one last Lucky Ice Pop, if I'm not mistaken. But that's it. So we better hope to get the Thorton at some point for the Koraidon to transform. If we don't transform with the Koraidon, they can quite easily kill it with 1 hit because it's actually weak to a Psychic. I've said that already, but we can't survive more than 1 turn with the Koraidon, and that's actually very, very bad. Because we got no Raihan to charge up the next Ursaluna, unless if we do a straight Thorton. And we actually got the Lucky Ice Pop this turn, and we're going to play it right now. We got 100 damage on the Lunatone though, which is actually enough without playing the Lucky Ice Pop. We're going to do it this turn anyways. We digged for our last jelly. That's definitely the last jelly, because we have 1 prize. Not many cards left in our deck as well. So we just need 2 more turns to finish off. 2 more Pokemons for the win. We got the VIP from the prize. Not good. But we don't need much at this point. We just need the Thorton. Please give us the Thorton. Do we have it priced? Do we have it in the discard pile already? I'm not actually too sure. Here comes another Lunatone. So how much damage do they need? Because we actually recovered quite a lot. A lot more than the previous turn, thanks to the Ice Pop. I don't think they got a knockout. I don't think they're ever gonna get the knockout. Well, on the next turn though, I think they got a knockout. Because we have finally ran out of our heal cards. We got 1 last transfer, and that's it. Can transfer 1 last time with the Strange Behavior. We even have the Escape Rope to finish off the final Pokemon on the bench if they somehow play like a Wiedeer or something to prevent us in the knockout. A Wiedeer has, fighting weakness though, so I don't think it makes sense. If they play a Mewtwo at the last second, because we can't actually knock it out with 1 hit, even with Wild Impact. So if they somehow bench a Mewtwo, we got Escape Rope for the last knockout. And we're going to transfer another 9 damage counters. I don't think they can even knock it out on the next turn though. Because even without healing, we still get to transfer. So we just need one Slowbro apparently. That's pretty crazy. Got another Rock Chestplate. Didn't get the last jelly from the prize, unfortunately. Or did we? I'm not actually too sure. Do they have enough energies? They got 180 damage, I think. If they play a Raihan, they got 210 damage. But they need... How much do they need? I'm not actually too sure right now. They need 230 damage. Right? Exactly. Oh, but we got the Lake Acuity though. We got the Stadium and they didn't play the Pokestop. So they actually need 250 damage for the knockout right now. But they're probably going to do a boss at the last second. I mean, Koraidon is still sitting on a bench, waiting to get knocked out. But they didn't actually do it. Oh my gosh. No Thorton for that long. We survived with the Koraidon on the bench. Tanking like crazy. Using Hard Coat, Rock Chestplate, and Lake Acuity. Helping us win the game with Slowbro. And we actually won. A Mewtwo V-Star with Lunatone Solrock. Amazing. One last prize. We got the Beach card sleeve for Slowbro. And the Riolu deck box for our Koraidon EX. With Ursaluna. Yeah, we won. So I think I'm just going to end the voiceover right here and leave you guys to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Today we are featuring our Ursaluna V with Slowbro combo, tanking and recovering damage like crazy. And we also have Koraidon EX to charge up for the energy cost early game, ending our turn, but we actually get to search our discard pile and attach 2 basic fighting energy to our basic fighting Pokemon in any way we like on the first turn. And then all we need on the second turn is to evolve the Slowbro, attach our tool card, do big damage with Peach Shoulder while charging up our Koraidon EX on the bench so that we get to play Thorton to transform it into a second copy so that we get to attack with another Ursaluna V on the next turn right after the first one gets knocked out. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye from the people. Enjoy your life.